I get to the holiday show, which was our topic, I want to introduce, if this is going to, okay, our assembly/virtual project. When you are checking the lesson plans, when you are, if you open an assembly, you see virtues like being honest, being supportive, being in service, enjoying beauty and seeing beauty in things. These are all virtues that we learn what they are and how actually you can make it part of yourself. And what happened with the service, which was a month and a half ago maybe, is that the kids got to the understanding that service is actually an action. It's not just sitting there and internalizing something that is going on around you, it's something that you have to do. Okay, service means to help. Let's help, but there are, so we went through animals, animal shelters, zoos, wild animals. There were ideas about elderly people, children, ill children, orphans, and like a lot of places where we can actually practice our service virtue. In the end, we had a vote, and it was like ill children. That's who we are going to help. There are a lot of ill children as well. And then I was like, maybe we can find someone that is already supporting ill children, and we can support them. So the kids found 2 or 3, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like companies, associations that were supporting children for different reasons. So they went through the websites, and in the end of these 2 companies, and we voted. It's like democracy in our classroom. So they voted and decided that we are going to support Children of Bulgaria and their project to renew the equipment in the children's hospital in Vidin. You might be aware, Vidin is a very poor region in Bulgaria. So at this point, we had to write them an email. So can we talk to you, can we ask some questions? That's when we started actually learning about how to write formal letters, because we had to write a formal letter. We had a very sweet communication with the director of Children of Bulgaria. These are Bulgarian people that actually live in the UK and in America. So they raise money for children in Bulgaria. In our moment in time, it was the hospital in Vidin. Before the formal letters, we wrote poems. So the kids, after a lot of not really easy to do ideas, we decided we're going to make a book with our poems, and we're going to sell it. And with those money, we're going to send them to Children of Bulgaria and add to the amount of money. It was, I think, 125,000 euro or pounds, dollars, I'm not sure with currency, they are aiming for. So we are going to do what we can and sell those. So we sold books on 1st of June. We sold how many?
20 copies.
20 copies on 1st of June. Now, one book is 5 left. Okay? That's it. If you want to pay more for it, you are welcome. It's for the Children of Bulgaria. Okay, and for the hospital. It's here for the end of our presentation. It was just a moment when I can talk to you and explain how important it is. Yeah, you're supporting your children and their efforts and the children of Bulgaria. So buy the book. Okay, that's our book. Now we can go to our topic in IPC.
Go one back and one front.
It will work. Okay, the holiday show. This topic was mostly geography, and it was about tourism. And while exploring tourism, the children were exploring geography. Afterwards, the history bit was actually natural disasters, which are different through the time of history. And in this way, and how the natural disasters actually impact the tourism. This was our topic. The kids, as usual, learned a lot of things and thought about things that are not going that well in real life from their understanding. So they created projects. Before that though, we had our entry point. And we went around Sofia on a school bus and we did some sightseeing. Afterwards, the kids made an audio guide for all the tourists in Sofia with the places they saw. So here is the guide, I will play it for you. And afterwards we start with the presentation. That's kind of the first project.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry for being late.
Oh, it's fine. You missed the bit, buy the book. Like in short. Okay?
National Stadium was built on the 5th of July, 1953, in the capital of Bulgaria, Sofia. It was made in order to provide more football entertainment for Bulgarians. Janitors and builders maintained the building. It was named after a Bulgarian hero. It was a Russian prince. The cathedral was created in honor to the Russian soldiers who died during the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 to 1878, as a result of which Bulgaria was liberated from Ottoman rule. The foundations were laid down in 1882. Construction was not completed until 19...
The Russian church Sveti Nikolai Trudov-Dvorets was built in the period of 1907 to 1914 on a plot belonging to the Russian embassy. Architecturally, the church was designed by Mikhail Preobrazhensky. The initial purpose of the church was for it to serve as a private chapel of the Russian embassy to Bulgaria. It was named the Russian church because priests from Russia were taking care of it for a long period of time.
Some of them didn't want their real voices to be on the recording, so they used something that I have no idea how to use. But they used something, so yeah. But it takes a breath. The same time Juliana takes a breath. It's like strange.
Culture, also called Erteka, was created in celebration of the 1300th anniversary of the Bulgarian state. The National Palace of Culture is the largest multifunctional complex in southern Eastern Europe. The palace was officially opened in 1981 to mark 1300 years since the founding of Bulgarian state. So, in 1989, the palace was named after the late Minister of Culture. Volunteer work and contributions from many Sofians were invested in the construction of the palace. Stefan Stambolov Monument. When was it created? It was erected in the 1990s. Why was it erected? Because the politician he was a politician and he was killed in daylight by two assassins in the late 19th century. And he was attacked with a saber, and that's why the statue has cuts or gaps in its face. So it was inspired by the saber cuts.
Why is St. Sophia Church created? It was originally dedicated to the wisdom of God. It is one of the oldest churches in Sofia, and its history is closely related to the history of the city. When was it built? It was built in the 6th century. How is it maintained? In the predecessor building took place in the Council of Serdica, held most probably in 343 and attended by 316 bishops. In the 14th century, the church gave its name to the city previously known as Serdica. How was the name chosen? In the 14th century, the church gave its name to the city Hagia Sophia, meaning holy wisdom in Greek.
Borisova Garden made. Well, the construction and arrangement of Borisova Garden began in 1884. And so, it was established in the late 18th century. But how was the name chosen? Well, the name was chosen after the name of the Bulgarian Tsar Boris III. Also, the reason for creating this park is because Tsar Boris III wanted his own park in Sofia, so it was created.
The city was built since 1st of October 1888. It was constructed between 1924 and 1934. It has an area of 18,624 meters square.
So this is our first project, and I believe that's their first time when they had to find a quiet space, at school, believe it or not, and actually record themselves. They recorded it many times. So cut and edited and actually used those the iPads and the technology with the audio things in a way that I had no idea that could be done, and embedded in a keynote presentation. So it's But imagine this keynote presentation that you can download before you visit Sofia. It has the map, it has an information about the buildings. These are the buildings that they saw. Okay? That was our first project when we just started the topic. Now it's time everyone to show their own. Okay? So we'll start with Rosa. Where are you? Okay. And Rosa is going to introduce you to the main types of tourism. 1405.
The topic is tourism, IBC project. Tourism is to visit places outside of where you live. There are 4 types of tourism: history, fun, culture, sport. History tourism to visit very old places in different cities or countries. Fun tourism to visit places where you can have fun, like disco, fun parks and water parks. Culture tourism to visit places and learn about culture, to try different foods and drinks, to visit museums and art galleries. Sport tourism to visit places where you can praise sports like skiing, hiking, or to watch a football. Favorite sport like football, swimming. Thank you for
Okay. Next, Alex, George, and Trajan, who actually fell ill, unfortunately. AGR bikes. Okay.
Okay, how can we stop tourists from using automobiles that run on petrol, gasoline? But Ryan is not here. Unfortunately, we have lost him to a sickness. What did we learn about? In IPC with our lovely class teacher over here, Miss Tina, we learned all about tourism and studied the places tourists go. We became agents, made an audiobook, and we started learning about a cleaner way of tourism, ecotourism. And this is our contents. The first one is how much do tourist rental cars make? And then our solution, which is top secret for now, top secret. Then there's the cultural route, historical route, and entertainment route / sport.
Okay, so how much pollution do tourist cars, rental cars make? So a typical 4-person vehicle emits about 4.6 tons of carbon dioxide per year. The average gasoline vehicle on the road today has an economy of about 22 miles and drives around 11,500 miles per year. Every gallon of gasoline creates about 8,000 grams of carbon dioxide, and that's only for one car.
Imagine a highway full of cars.
Okay, so our solution is a rental bike place which will be called
AGR bikes.
AGR, which stands for Alex, George, Ryan. So our bike rental place will be placed within popular tourist attraction, like places tourists go and are famous, that are most 1 kilometer away from each other. Tourists can rent a bike or an e-bike of their choice, varying from 10 level an hour. Meanwhile, in-bikes will cost 15 level per hour. The bike rental shop will be open from 5:30 a.m., so really early in the morning, and 10:30 p.m. from Monday to Saturday.
Like they say, the early bird gets the worm. So this is the map of Sofia and where we will place our bike rental shops. These are the places where we will situate our bike rental. Yes, you can see here are the keys, and you can match them up here at this part of Sofia. So first is the cultural route, which will be done by George.
Okay, so the cultural route that you see is mostly around the heart of Sofia, and it will start from St. Alexander Nevsky, you see here. Then it will go to St. Nicholas Russian Church, the Miracle Maker, that's how it's called, the Vitosa Boulevard, St. Sophia Church, and then it will end on Endeka here. And also a really good reason why it will end on Endeka is because there is metros there and lots of food places, so it's also kind of like fun to end your ride there and get breakfast.
Okay, I'll be talking about the historic route, and it's a very tight route. The first one is the Church of Saint Parasheva. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's fine. Which starts there. Then the Ancient Orthodox Church, and then we go into Serdica and Romshe Ruin. Then you bike or go to Church of St. George Rotunda, and then you end off at Mello by the ruins.
Okay, so I'll be talking about the entertainment slash sport route. You can see it's a sport route because you can see how much miles and kilometers you have to ride. So it will start off on the Zoo of Sofia. Then it will go to South Park, which is like a really cool place to like bike around, and it's really calm. Here you can use either the South Park road, so you can go like in the park and enjoy the nature, or you can go by the road there. Then you go to City Garden, which is like you can bike around the beautiful flower beds with roses and all other flowers, and then it finishes off on the the Borisova Gardena. Then it goes up there, and then it finishes on Zapaden Park, which it finishes there.
And this, just keep in mind, this route is only if you want to get a six
Yeah.
pack in one day.
Also, like here, you don't need to follow our route exactly. If you know the place and you're, because we did about tourists, but if you know the place, you can go from anywhere you want. But that's our suggestion.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. First of all, we have a corny joke before you go. So, a man talks to a therapist about why his girlfriend broke up with him. His therapist said he was obsessed with Africa. He said, "Uganda, be kidding me."
Next is Eva with her treasure house. Yeah.
So hello, my name is Eva and this is my IPC project problem solving. So in this slide you can see a summary to all the things that we studied this unit, but as a lot of people said before me, I'm just going to skip them. So yes. Next, we decided to combine our ideas and we made a list of problems that tourists might experience, and here are some of them. The problem that I chose was the tourist's kid not being interested in some of the attractions. So what can we do about that? For modern attractions, I decided that museums can get the most boring for kids, and even I, when I was little, fell asleep one time. And so I decided to think about that, and I made a list of 4 things that kids usually like to do. And I decided that kids like to play games, they enjoy puzzles, they also love mysteries, and they like being detectives. So I decided that we can make a treasure hunt to prevent For an example museum, I chose the National Museum of History, and I chose it because it's first off very big. Also, it has a lot of artifacts that can enlarge the kids' culture, and also the location is very convenient because around it you can see other attractions that you can visit them. So here I made a map of the treasure hunt, and this is how in rooms everything is gonna go. Now the first room, we'll start off easily by visiting the room where they actually explain a theory about the about how the world was created. And an interesting fact that we can tell the children is that Bulgaria actually has a base in Antarctica, which is called St. Clement Ohridsky base. So in this room, in every room, we will give the children a task to do so they don't get bored. And in this room, their task will be to find the 12 differences from this picture. And if they struggle a lot, we can ask some of them where do penguins actually live, on the North or on the South Pole. And if one of them answers correct, we can give them a hint. We can give them a little bit of an answer. Okay, this is the second room. It will be a little bit more information. So here, the information that we can give them will be that Bulgarian rulers, were often buried with something that they would like to keep in their past life and afterlife. So they were usually buried with jewelry, and maybe sometimes even a loved one could go buried with them. And in this one, the task will be, because we gave them so much information, we will go easy. And we will just give them beads, and they can try to recreate one of the movies that a king of a ruler had. So this is the third room. It will be more simple. And here, as well as I said previously, the rulers were buried with something for their past life. And often that were usually pottery, which were filled with food or drinks so that they can eat. And here the task will be for the kids to find at least 18 animals or children or people in the pottery, because as you can see, there are a lot of drawn things. And now we will have a little bit of a transition room where a hint that we will give them is to find more illustrations of animals. And you can see here that there are a lot of animals, so they will find the fourth room, which is dedicated to the Panagiotis treasure, which is a very iconic treasure for Bulgaria. And it's a golden set of vessels, which are 9 vessels. And here the task will be to figure out how many coins are there in a jar. And if they do that, they will get a prize, but that's not actually a prize. It's like more of a thing that can help them further. And the prize will be a pin, which will have the faces of 2 very important people for Bulgaria, which are for the 5th room. And in this room, they will learn something about the Bulgarian alphabet and its vibrations. And actually, the Bulgarian alphabets are 2, and they were Galgotic and Cyrillic. And here the task will be a little bit different. They will have to use the English alphabet and the Bulgarian alphabet and translate the word corona, which in Bulgarian means a crown. And we won't give them the crown, we will just give them corona, but yes. And as they do that, this will be the next hint for the next room, which will transition the kids where to go. This is the 6th room. And in this room, the kids will learn more about a very famous hero for Bulgaria. And they will learn about Vasily Nevsky, which is a revolutionary hero and actually a national hero. So here the task, probably for the boys, will be to find the most pretty and the most colorful gun, which actually the patterns and the colors will make a transition to our next room, which is a folk costume room. And in this room, the kids will learn that more about the Bulgarian traditional folk costumes, and that it's very traditional for Bulgaria, and replicates the life of the Bulgarian people and how they lived it. So yeah. And the task here is the kids will have to use their imagination and creativity and to actually draw a design of their own Bulgarian cultural folk costume. And this is our final room, which we won't torture them with more information. We'll just give them the opportunity to explore, as their task will be to find their country's traditional clothes, because in this room you can see that there are a lot of traditional clothes and each kid should find their own. And yeah, thank you for attention.
Technically, without the idea is cursed, but that's what we usually do when we actually go with kids to a museum. And if you just let them go, it will be a natural disaster. So usually they have tasks, and what she created around the National Museum of History, which we actually go to, but not that often, just because it's too big to control 15 or 20 kids. What she created, it's a great idea, and I think that every museum should have this set of tasks or challenges for kids that will keep them entertained. And thank you, Eva. And on the same note, if there are kids that do not want to go on a treasure hunt, here is Marcel that is going to give them alternative entertainment. So, Marcel, and for the rest of the kids in the museum. Oh, it's on my laptop.
So, good evening, everybody. We learn about the tourist attractions like museums or sport attractions or and my problem is the children who don't want to go on museum or for a tour and in every bigger museum, because it takes so much money to put in every museum TVs. In every bigger museum, we put a TV which show animation, and that's how the children are taking interested for it, because we know every small children care about the technology. They can watch it hours long. So yeah, and here's the animation. And I know it's very pixelated, but I can't think about it. And imagine if you go through a tour or for a museum, and there is a family which have children, and he's crying and screaming, and it's so annoying you and everybody around you. And the family thought that this children. So like there is a TV which is showing this animation, and the children are just watching it, and that's how he understand it and interested about it. and there is a people who are like stay there and watching the children don't do anything wrong or just run away, and that's why you can go around the items and you can see it or read the text, and yeah. And goodbye, everybody. I hope you didn't start sleeping.
Marcel, what did you use for that animation that you made?
For up, like animation up.
It's an animation app.
He used animation desk.
Animation desk. Okay, so yeah, I can't, but Marcel can. Okay. Next to present, if I can find my note. Maria and Anthony with the Eco Heaven. Trying to stop it. Whiteboard?
Hello. Eco Heaven. My name is Maria and
I'm Anthony.
And it's our second IPC project we present to our parents, you. And we have a problem and a solution. So something we learned all this time before we saw you again was all about tourism, its disadvantages, advantages, and some advantages are that natives actually get money from people paying rent, food, and other activities they like to do. Their culture will be spread around the world by social media and technology we are used to. And people actually save their houses and families from the money they earn, and they socialize much more with the tourists. The disadvantages are noises from the overpopulation from tourism, and the cars that pass may annoy the natives and make them angry, so that's not really nice to do. Deforestation is one that's really important for me, and I think for the world especially, because people destroy nature in general to build houses, hotels, and other touristic attractions for us. But it's harmful, so I don't think we should continue. Also, because of deforestation, food chains break, and that will destroy our world, and we shouldn't deforestate so much. I mean, we need the buildings, but I think it's too much. Okay, so what's ecotourism? It's basically tourism, but it fully supports threatened places and nature in all ways possible. Okay, so in Gabrovo, we searched and found an abandoned house, and this big house could be easily used as a touristic attraction. So we could fix it and find creepy and funny stories, so people would come, I think. So, Eco Heaven, please. Okay, so basically Eco Heaven will be supports both nature and tourism in the same time. You travel there or with horses or with bicycles, otherwise you're not allowed in because it's not eco-friendly. So yeah, and you can be all ages, babies, adults, elderly people, so you're all ages. Okay, there may be many ways you can actually travel in general, but personally I think eco-friendly ways are better. Horses are fast and they're amazing travel agents, so I suggest you go by horse if you have one. Also, although bicycles are the most common and known ones, are easily controlled, and I think you know how to ride when you were small, so yeah. Okay, so in the cold part of Eco Heaven, the easiest and funniest thing you can do is ski. But if you are an expert in this kind of activities, try snowboarding. It's harder. Hiking. Hiking is as healthy as nature. You get peace all around you while you are at nature, and you don't need to worry about anything unless you get lost. Then you have to go, because then you can't return. But I mean, you forget about work, loud people shouting at you, and work. You are free in the nature. You have so much oxygen, and yeah, so it's really good. Also, you can walk where roads can't even reach, and it will have so much better view than seeing traffic, cars, buildings, and noise. So I think we all had an experience of swimming, and it's amazing. It's a full body exercise, and it helps you in every way. It's refreshing, if in summer especially. So yeah, swim. It's nice. Okay, bird watching. I think personally I love animals, so I think it's amazing. You learn all about birds and their habitats, their life, and you get to know how they live. So I think it's really nice, and also it's like a detective. You can hear them and then you have to find them. So it's really hard but fun. So okay. Okay, adventures aren't just fun to do and like go and see places, but they are actually important because you need to grow by having adventures and get to know many places in the world you haven't even discovered. So go on adventures. Okay, kayaking makes you strong not only on strength but mind also. The view, as the photo, in every place you can see all things around you, and it frees your mind from everything, and it exercises you much from moving your hands left, right, left, right. So I think it's nice if you want to get fit. Okay. Climbing is physically and mentally challenging. I think if you don't have someone with you that actually knows how to climb, it may be too much dangerous. So first try with someone, and you can climb on our mountain. And yeah, it's really fun, and it helps your bravery become stronger, and you can discover anything you want after you have this dangerous activity. Okay, picnics are awesome. You escape from noise, as I said. Most of these are eco-friendly, all of them actually. So you can get away from people you don't like and they make you angry. Also, if you are under stress, just go to a picnic with your family, friends. You're just gonna relax with some food. It's fun, nature around you, peace. So, yes.
Okay, the model we made is presented as Eco-Heaven. Our mountain is called Crystal Peaks because the shiny ice on the mountain. You can get cheese from the sheeps. You can go fishing at the river, and you can stay at the hotel for a few days.
And have the best eco-friendly day ever. Thank you.
To be honest, in Bulgaria it wasn't that hard to find an abandoned big house that has a river and a mountain next to it. So it was kind of, if you managed to find, and they were like, good, oh, there are plenty. This was nice, so that's our place. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
On the eco topic, if you are not in Eco-Heaven and you are somewhere else, here is Sabina that is going to tell you how you can support.
Deforestation. IPC project made by citizens. So what will do if we do not stop the devastation? If we will not stop this devastation for a long time, we'll have not so much oxygen. It's like basic oxygen. So the loss of brain oxygen, so maybe we'll die. In future we'll be broken too. My idea is to help people and at the same time nature. In tourist places, I think tourists need tickets. And the idea is to stick to the tickets or to a packet of seats. Tourists will buy tickets and go visit the place. Then plant seats next to water. There will be a chance for them to grow without any human contact. This
this is it. So this part will fold, and inside it will go sit. And now I will.
Thank you very much.
So after this, go on planting, of course. And thank you for your attention.
Okay? Definitely can just tear it open and crop the seeds somewhere. Yeah, it's a brilliant idea, and I think that it should just be made part of the, I don't know, ticket industry or something. Because, thank you, Sabina. I hope someone hears you. We should sell this. Okay? Last but not least, it was like a structure of the presentation. Alex and Martin with the seed. No, saint. I'm sorry, gentlemen. Saint. So that's that.
So our main topic is how to survive natural disasters. Like our name, SANE, is also, it stands for survive in, self-aid in natural disasters. Yes. So, the structure of this presentation, so basically the slides that we'll be talking about. So first of all, like everyone else, we'll be talking about what we learned, and then just a little introduction to our video, like what our video is about, really. And then we'll just have a list of the most common injuries or problems that will happen during a natural disaster. And then we made two videos. One is about volcanic ash cloud, like how to make a mask for it, and another one is where to stay during a tornado.
What have we learned? Our topic was the holiday show, where we learned how natural disasters affected people's lives and tourism. Our introduction, what is this presentation about? We'll show you how to survive some natural disasters like a volcanic eruption, volcanic ash clouds, and tornadoes.
So here are the injuries listed that could happen, like that might happen if you're in these situations. So first is what might happen when it's like caused by volcano eruption. Like basically when volcano erupts and lava. So basically traumatic injuries, like really serious injuries, and burns, and basically. But they don't cause that much trouble because people, mainly they run away. And what's caused by volcanic ash cloud is the most important one because ash, they spread really quickly and not many people can really run away. So it can cause skin irritation, eye injury. It can also cause conjunctivitis, suffocation, and of course your breathing problems, respiratory problems. And it's caused by tornado, just soft tissue injuries, like your tissue, like it's the things that's in your body. So basically, you might get injured, cut, dislocation. fractures. It's like when your bone gets smashed. It's not very pleasant. Brain injuries, being hit by if I were falling debris like an object, and also being picked up or blown off, just thrown away. So here's the video for the volcanic ash cloud proof mask. Because every video, for it to be more efficient, we made it less than 1 minute so people won't get bored while watching it. It'll be easier to
You know,
spread.
YouTube shop. Make sure that the volume is up. Just.
Sorry, we got some technical problems.
We teach you how to survive a volcano. Most people, they don't die due to volcano, explosion, or lava.
Not good. Got some technical problems.
Oh,
We got it, we got it. We got it.
You got it!
We teach you how to survive a volcano. Most people, they don't die due to volcano, explosion, or lava. But instead, they die due to the large amount of ash cloud that the volcano eruption produces.
Any mask with a proper filter will work. Well, I'm just going to show you how we make a crude mask.
So you need a cloth and a bottle of water. The bottle of water must be enough to soak the rag. So you're going to soak it, and after that, simply put it on your face. And there you go, you got it. A simple filtered mask. You won't suffer from the ash clouds anymore. Today we're going to teach you how to survive a volcano. Most people, they
bottle
don't.
afterwards.
Today we're going to be teaching you how to survive a tornado. Of course, if the tornado is still in a distance, then you better take your car and run away. Don't come back to the next day. If you don't know where to go when the tornado is close, then today we're going to show you where you should go and where you should not. Don't go into a room with a window, because they can easily break in the case of a tornado, and you won't have any protection in that room. The garage is safe, you may recall, but those doors won't hold at all. In the room, we're protected with the most walls. And don't come out until the storm calms.
Okay, upstairs time. Yep, that's it.
So volcanic eruption and a tornado are covered. They're going to work on the other self-aid during natural disaster videos. You can watch them, short ones, download them on your phone, so wherever, whenever, if, God forbid, I hope you won't, but if you need them, you can have them easily on your site. Now, this was the last presentation, and it's most probably the last presentation for the school year as well. I want to remind you about the books because I'm that kind of person, and afterwards you can leave. Thank you for coming.